How's it going, Tim?
Hey, Chad. Better than I was 4 or 5 days ago, but that loss to Georgia still stings. An embarrassing loss. There's no other way to put it. But we're 2 days away from another chance of beating Ole Miss. But how are you tonight?
You know, I'm doing well. I don't know. I don't know what to say at this point. I guess the best way I know to put that Georgia game is embarrassed. It was embarrassing. I feel like the way that we played, we saw some old tendencies that we don't like to talk about, and we hope we wouldn't see again, right? It didn't come to it wasn't like play call and stuff like that, but it was just like the want to, like the effort. I felt like wasn't there. It felt like the team felt defeated by the end of that first quarter.
Yeah, we got down 21-0 early. I don't know if it was the first drive where we hadn't seen that all year in the first 4 games where a team just takes it to us. Mm-hmm. We've been dominating those teams right off the bat, and the very first drive, Georgia gets the ball, and they're just up and down running the ball on us. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like they were spreading it out and just fast moving, great. They were just dominating us up front, and mm-hmm. I was very surprised by how much more physical they were on us, and they set the tone and never looked back. But that, mm-hmm. especially when it got down to, we still had a chance after that. I mean, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have the ball first set. We could answer, we can do all this stuff, but those next couple, when it got 21-0, it was it, man. I mean,
yeah, I agree. I think that there's a time whenever it felt like, how well were they going to play, and then how poorly are we going to play? And it was like everything was going wrong, like everything, special teams, penalties, just regular plays, just the plays that were being called to some degree just didn't make any sense to me. It's like everything wrapped up into one. It was just very poor football all the way around, and it's tough to see that. It's tough to see a team like that because I thought they've done good. I mean, we talked about it. We talked about what we were going to see whenever we saw Georgia, and I know that old boy sent the Twitter messages over and said we didn't have a good take and things like that. I guess he felt like we wasn't giving Georgia enough credit. But don't come on an Arkansas Razorback podcast and expect me to talk up Georgia when we're playing you that week. That's not going to happen. That's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the other teams listening and giving it a shot and listening to what we have to say and wanting to see what our fans feel like and how we feel. But when we're not excited about your team, that should be normal on a podcast like this. And we gave them plenty of credit, I feel like. At the beginning of the year, we said when we did our predictions, we said, there's going to have to be a lot of stuff go right for us to be able to even predict that we can win this game. And I felt like all those things went right. Everything just kind of lined up, and it felt like we had a chance when we predicted that. I mean, the things we predicted kind of came true, right? We said that the first string quarterback was going to be out. Second string quarterback is probably going to be in. They were going to have a whole lot of injuries, a whole lot of folks beat up. They did. But they were still just so dominant, even though they had all those injuries, even though all those things that we had mentioned for reasons that we would win were correct. They were just better. They were just better. I mean, what? There's nothing more you can say to that. But we shouldn't have been shut out to the degree that we were, and we shouldn't have just been manhandled to the degree that we were. And we should have an answer for how we're going to fix that.
Yeah, that's the thing to me is just getting shut out. It's not the fact that we lost. Like in our preseason projections, that was the game we both agreed. Like, all right, we can definitely start 4-0, but going to Athens, they're going be ranked very high. They're going to be a good team this year. Have one of the best defenses in the nation. And that's going to be tough. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing that was just so tough and demoralizing to me, I mean, as a fan and all fans, and I don't see how any fan, Art Razorback fan, can take anything positive from that. And I get it. Hey, the season's not over. I agree, too. I'm ready to go kick Ole Miss's ass. But that one hurt. Because I couldn't. Because we were looking forward to that one. I was looking so much forward to that game. We were on the big stage. We were top 10 last week. We were top 10, going on the road. Big the way we played against A&M and Texas, took care of business against Georgia Southern Rice. Felt like we were playing good. And to just get embarrassed on the national stage. I mean, the announcers were making fun of us. We had a possession where we had 3 penalties on one play. Curb Street's like, I've never seen that before. And it was just like, why did this have to be this game? Why did we have to, you know what I mean? And just to get down early like that, it's like, all right, let's figure something out. And no, we just kept throwing these wide receiver screens that just would not work against Georgia. You got to figure something out against Georgia. I know it's going to go to the Brooks. And then behind the line of scrimmage, they're going to keep going to that.
Yeah, and the thing about the stupid wide receiver screens, it's like the defense was on top of you as soon as you threw it. And we're lucky they didn't pick the ball and take it back for a touchdown. Yeah. We're damn lucky that they didn't do that. And why do you just keep running those, right? Why do you? Sanders isn't having a great day, but Green is putting up almost 4 or 5 yards every time he touches the ball. Feed him the ball. Let's let him run. Let him run it, right? If that's what we need to do. We don't have to get fancy. We don't have to get fancy with this stuff sometimes. Sometimes, minimal is better. And at that point, I mean, it's probably better just to not run a hurry-up offense and just try to go out there and go as fast as you can, hurry up and punt, right? We talked about this in the last podcast, and the podcast where the hurry up and punt sucks. If you're going to run it and it's working, great. Yeah, it's a fun thing to watch. It's a fun thing to be a part of. But when you're running hurry up and punt, that's no fun, right? So run the ball. Slow it down. Don't get manhandled because you're giving them the ball back within 3 minutes after you touch it. Take some time off the clock. You're playing Georgia. I mean, you got to figure out a way to control the clock longer than they do. And I don't know. Maybe that's just old school. Maybe it's just old school football. Maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know. Works for me.
Yeah, and I will say it doesn't help on our first possession. They take the lead 7-0. First possession, 2 false starts in a row. So we're first and 20. And then I will say they took Traylon Smith out. 3 carries, 4 yards, and that was it. 3 carries for the entire day. So they didn't give him. AJ Green ran good. Sanders, had his lowest day, but he ran out the best of anybody. But let me say before I go on, because you mentioned too on this Georgia guy getting in the Twitter mentions on Hog Call, Chris Shaw. I don't know. Wow, listen. This is his quote, not me. Wow, listen to the podcast. Maybe the worst take in history. The whole thing was dismissive of UGA, who ain't played nobody. LOL, an absolute bloodbath. And Sanford Stadium is an easy place to play, and it's at noon. No problem. LOL. What's with these LOLs? But the Arkansas coaches are so much better than UGA coaches. Okay, LOL. You guys are a piece of work.
Yeah. I agree the Arkansas coaches are better than the UGA coaches. I think he's got that right. I said that in the last podcast. I say it again. I say it to his face. If we had the talent you guys had, we'd be able to beat Bama. I'm just going to say it. We'd beat Bama. We wouldn't be losing to Bama six times in a damn row. I can tell you that if we had that talent, right? So, I know you guys want to be number one, and you haven't been able to elevate yourself. You haven't been able to get there. You haven't been able to beat Bama. And so until you do, just sit down and shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah. Look, I think it's a thing of Georgia fans. Like one thing, look, I guess maybe he just wants to listen to the other team's podcast. And why are you saying that after the fact? Mm-hmm. Come on here before, or leave a voicemail. Like we've been interact with it before the fact. You're gonna wait till after the game, the next day, or whenever. I don't know. I didn't check it because I was demoralized from the loss. But say it beforehand. And you're gonna wait till after the fact. Okay, we knew that. I get it. You ain't gonna make me feel any worse, Chris. You ain't gonna make me feel any worse. What you are is a Georgia fan that's been let down for 40 years. You won one championship with Herschel Walker in 1980. and that's it. Nothing since then. Year after year after year of disappointment. There's not been a year you felt, yep, because you haven't won a championship. And now you have all these chances you had the chance in the East. Okay, look, you got Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, who had good years with Fulmer, but nothing since then. South Carolina, some okay years with Holtz and Spurrier, but nothing. Okay, Florida, you had one Spurrier left. You had a gap. You had Ron Zook. You could win it then. Then you had Urban Meyer for a few years. Okay, but then you had Muschamp, and then you had McElwain, and Mullins not all he's cracked up to be. You're in the East, and what you think? You think you're going to win the championship every year, and you can't beat Bama. Mm-mm. That said, this looks like a pretty good Georgia team, but now I don't even want them to don't want them to beat Bama because of this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, and here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, I thought Georgia fans were pretty amicable and fun fans to hang out with. I've never really had issues with them, but I'll tell you on social media after this game, they were everywhere, just like, hey, look what we did, rub their noses in it, And it wasn't just our, Twitter feed. It was other Twitter feeds I saw. I saw it on Facebook. I saw it several different places where they're just out there just, ha, we beat you after the fact, like you said. And it's like, I mean, act like you've done it before, right? Like, you're supposed to be such a top-notch program. Be humble. I mean, it's hard to be humble, but you got to try.
They're bragging about beating a program that we just had 2 straight 2-10 seasons. We had Brett Bielema, then we had Chad Morris. Okay, and then we only had 3 wins last year, 3-7 last year in this first year. And you're happy about that because we were a story that we were national darlings. All right, because we play hard. That's what before this Georgia game against we played hard and we were a team that people liked.
Yeah,
it's like why are you so happy about that? Move along with your business. You just know you're worried about because you're not going to win a championship.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then the other thing is like the whole it was a bad take. Well, I don't know. We did well last year. We did well against you last year, especially first half. And so that was Pittman's very first year. COVID, all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
First game.
I know it, right? And then, you look at how well we've done, the teams we've beat, the teams you guys have beat, really not anybody. I mean, we really look like, we had an opportunity. And I go back and I'm looking at it again, and I bet you I'd make the same call. I would make the same call again. After that, now, what do I say? Now I'm like, oh, well, now we got to play Ole Miss, and now we got to do that. And well, do you think it's because we wasn't prepared to play in such a big environment, early morning game where you don't have time to get liquored up, which is what I said before, and get loud and so on and so forth? I wasn't that damn impressed with the size of the crowd, as many people was there. I wasn't like, oh God, man, they can't even hear their audibles and stuff. Look at how bad they're doing. Like, it wasn't, we got beat because we did stupid stuff. We had way too many penalties. We didn't call the right plays, and it just didn't look good for us. So I don't know. Maybe I am delusional. I'll take it. I'm a fucking Hog fan through and through, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not gonna backtrack anything. I'm not gonna apologize. I got the only reply I sent to that guy, and I did again. It's like, thanks for listening. Thanks for giving us a listen.
Then I'll say that.
I'm glad. How bad are your Georgia fan podcasts that you don't want to listen to them? You want to listen to us?
Yeah. And I'll say, hey, thanks for listening. I really do appreciate it. I think that's awesome that he did listen. Maybe he'll tune in and listen again. Maybe he'll become regular listen. Maybe he'll have something else to say to us. We'll talk about it on the next podcast. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But like we always say, man, you reach out to us, we're going to put it on the podcast. That's just how it goes. Good or bad, we're going to discuss it. So if you haven't called in to the Hog Call Podcast this year yet, go ahead and do that. Go ahead, click the button. It's in the bio there, and it'll take you right to the thing, and you just leave the voicemail, man. It ain't bad at all. Here's the thing, Tim. I just want to switch gears just a little bit, and I want to start talking about Pittman, and I think this kind of, kind of rolls in right with like he's a new coach. He's a young coach. He's second year, right? He's learning the ropes. He's a new head coach, but he's been around head coaches for a very long time, right? He's been around football for a very long time. He knows, or he should know, like he needs to watch the things he says, right? Because his team is going to take on his personality. And that's just how it goes. That's how it always goes, The teams always take on their head coach's personality. And some of the things he had to say after the game, I'm concerned with. And then that carried over into the Ole Miss preview, and I'm just going to say this. I got one clip out of that Ole Miss preview of something he said that I wasn't very happy about. Everything else, I mean, go back and listen to it. He talks about how he's going to attack Ole Miss and things like that, and talks about the things that we're going to do different, switching up the offensive linemen and stuff like that. How he talked to the special teams coordinator and said, hey, we can't be having, these punt blocked anymore this year. It's not acceptable. It's, he had some really good stuff to say. So I don't want to just be all negative here. But that post game was, I don't know. I think he could have. You remember that point in the game where he ripped his headset off and almost threw it across the field? I think you could have come with a little bit of that energy that post game. I think it's okay to call some folks out, say some stuff that went wrong that you saw during the game that you didn't like and you want to correct. And a lot of people say, oh, these questions that the press are asking, they're softball questions and so on and so forth. I don't think so. I think Trey Biddy, all the guys there were asking really good questions. I think that they were kind of softball answers more than the softball questions. Like that's, of course they're not going to go out there and be rude. That's just not the right thing to do. You know what I mean? And like attack you, especially being Arkansas press after the game. So you got to kind of elaborate for them a little bit, and you definitely don't want that, I'm not going to say anything type situation. But here, just listen to this. I cut this up, and let's just take a listen to what I'm talking about here.
We're going to have to emphasize it a little bit more, I guess. I guess we'll have to do something instead of just bringing them out off the practice field, do something different. Because, obviously if we knew how to stop it, we would have already been doing it. I really have no idea. I mean, we practice it. I have no idea why they jumped off sides. I mean,
you got to have some
I'm
idea.
not a mind reader. Hell, I don't know. I mean,
you should.
We practice it with noise. That we stemmed them. We moved them. They jumped off sides. I don't have any idea why they jumped off sides. I wish I did. We'd fix it. Had a guy off sides, have a guy hold somebody, and had pass interference. All in the same play. So, man, I don't know, guys. I mean,
you got to give us more than that.
What's the
answer? I don't know.
Don't jump off sides, don't hold a guy, and don't pass interference a guy. Hell, I don't know. I mean, I wish I did. We wouldn't be doing it. We'll try to fix it, The entire team wasn't ready for a noon Eastern kickoff. It's about, do we have the right personnel? I think we do. Just a lot of stuff we got to fix, guys. That's why I'm a coach. I mean, we got to fix stuff. We got to get better, and all these questions you're asking me, hell, I know. I've seen the same thing you guys have, and it's my job to get it fixed, and that's what we'll do. Well, everything that we're trying to get accomplished this year, nothing was lost on the day's game. I mean, we still have an opportunity to get back and play Georgia again if we can win out on our side. I mean, our pride got crushed. Our ego got crushed, but it's one ball game against a team on the East, and so we're still right where we need to be on the West. And as long as we'll go back and fight and work this week. Go back a year ago when we beat Mississippi State, and then we lose to the next team, Auburn, on that call and all that stuff. And then we come back, beat Ole Miss. Our kids like to play.
Yeah.
In all honesty, we physically got whipped today, and that's what happened. And we also poured dirt on the wound because we messed it up in penalties. And if we can stop the penalties, we'll have a much better chance to win ball games. There's not a whole lot of teams like that when we just played physically.
I like that.
And,
I like that.
We've got to get that fixed quick, fast, and hurry. And if we do, I think our kids will respond and play well. Except learn from last week. I don't know that we can do a whole lot about when we have pregame. I don't know that we can practice at 11. We did in the fall. I think it'll just be try to get a different mindset going in there. In all honesty, I think everybody saw we just weren't ready for the grand stage yet, and that's all of us.
What's that mean?
And this is going to be a big stage because it's ESPN and all those things. But the college game day atmosphere, the 93,000. There was a lot of kids after the game, after I spoke with them, said it's the loudest crowd. They haven't ever been in anything like that before. And we tried to simulate it in practice, and obviously didn't have it turned up loud enough.
Maybe earplugs.
But I think just try to learn from this experience that we just went through, and try to learn from that, and I don't know that we'll have any different wake up or anything like that. I know I heard that Kirby played, I don't know if it's true, but I heard he played music in the locker room and things of that nature. We were trying to just go with status quo because we had practiced it for a week in fall camp, and obviously we all saw that we didn't do it the right way. So we're still thinking about what we might do on Saturday to change that up.
So look, man. I mean, some parts of the answers were, made a lot of sense, right? But then there was just other parts where you gotta dig in, right? And you gotta be able to say, like, this is why that happened. We had penalties because it was too loud. Okay, at least that's an answer, right? So, and that's what it seems to all boil down to between the game, after the game, when he didn't have any clue why these things were happening, and then to his conversation with Ole Miss, he says, it was because they were loud, and he mentioned that just a little bit in the pregame too, how they were loud. Well, shit, we're going to play Ole Miss, man. All right, and I'll tell you what, man, I went to every Ole Miss game whenever I was a student, and the Grove gets big, and it gets dang loud, and they get pretty wild in there. And I hope that we can match that intensity this week, because we're looking at the same thing again. And to say, like, midweek, I still haven't, we still haven't got it nailed down. We still don't know, like, what we're going to do. We haven't changed up our routine. We haven't really done anything different to prepare for this, right? I mean, first thing I would say is, like, if it was so loud that you didn't prepare correctly because you felt like you didn't have the noise turned up enough during stimulation periods, I would say put earplugs in. Put earplugs in your players' ears, then turn the noise up, and then run your plays like that so that you just barely hear everybody. The quarterback really does have to yell and scream to get his calls out to, make those things happen. Other than that, like, I just, these kids have been playing in a lot of games, and they've seen some big crowds, right? I mean, we got some pretty seasoned players on our team. We were talking about that and how seasoned they were, how many returners we had, so on and so forth. And I guess last year they didn't have last year we didn't have, games or whatever. We didn't have crowds last year. But still, with all that being said, we're fixing to run into the same problem. We're going to be in an away game. It's going to be loud, and we're going to have to figure it out. It's in the SEC, and it's one of the most notorious stadiums in the SEC for getting loud, even though it's smaller. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I will say, I can't believe that crowd was more than, because I know that a lot of these players are junior or seniors and super seniors even. Mm-hmm. Like hell, they went just 2 years ago. I know last year you watched that, but we're still like 2019. We played a night game at LSU the year they won the national championship. You can't tell me that crowd wasn't any louder than this one. But it seems like they should have known. Like the Georgia team. Like didn't he coach at Georgia for several years? Like he didn't. Mm-hmm. Like I guess he did say they knew it was going to be loud, but should they not have figured out something the way to communicate where they're not going to get penalties? Something else happened where there's got to be a fixable way. Because not every team goes in there and does that at Georgia. That's not at Georgia every time. Like you start the game off with two false starts like that. So there's correctable things and the I don't know and damn I don't know and stuff like that. It's like I don't know. That's to me. It's kind of we talked about this before. It's kind of a look from a first time head coach. He's a one full season and a couple games into his head coaching career. And so it's kind of some things maybe he can correct in regards to when the players and everybody kind of sees that, like, man, does he have the answer? Like, this is the SEC. Like, we're going to keep facing it. Like, Texas game, that was great. We were at home. Like, that crowd's on the other side. You saw what that crowd did to Texas. But it's quiet when we're on offense and things like that. A&M was a half and half crowd in Dallas. So that's not effective. I mean, we go to Tuscaloosa and Baton Rouge this year. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, Oxford. Mizzou ain't going to be a thing at the end of the year.
No, it's not.
Well, that's at home anyways. But those are you're still going to like Baton Rouge, Tuscaloosa, Oxford this year.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about Ole Miss. I mean, that's not, or not Ole Miss, Mississippi State. That's not that.
Yeah, no, and so it's because you gotta be confident that you're going to correct that. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, I think that's where confidence, Tim. I think you hit the nail on the head when you say you got to be confident. I think that's what I want from it. I think you got to come in, you got to be a little bit more confident. You got to say, this is what we're going to do to fix these things. This is how we're going to attack this. This is what we're going to do, because you can't say, well, hell, you saw what I saw, and I don't want to talk about it. That's all fine and dandy, maybe, but now you're making millions of dollars. You're the head coach at the University of Arkansas, and you're addressing the state. We want to know. We want to know what happened and how you're going to fix it and what your inclinations are. We want that confidence from you. And I feel like that could leak down to the players, where the players start exhibiting that, well, I don't know, man. Hope we can win this one. I don't know. I don't know how to I don't know how to fix it. Instead of looking more towards solutions. I don't know.
Like worried before, like the players could be like, are we going to fix it? Or are we going to do this again? Are we going to embarrass ourselves in Oxford? Ole Miss is a pretty good team. You know what I mean? So we're going to do this again. We're going to correct it. And then Pittman did have some things where that he was kind of or he said that we're not going to let the Georgia loss beat us in Ole Miss. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something like that. But this was not just like after the game. This is a couple days after the game where he's been able to see and talk with the coaches, watch quite a bit of film, obviously. Okay, so the quote, saw what I saw. He's talking to the reporters. It's like, yeah, but those are just reporters. They're just watching the game. They're not, like, in the game.
They're not the experts.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, you're expert. You're getting paid millions of dollars. You're the head coach of an SEC program, the University of Arkansas. I know this is your dream job. It obviously hurt him. There's a picture where he was sitting on the bench, like, at the end of the game, where it really hurt him. I mean, it really, like, He's a real human being, and that's part of the reason why so far it's fair to everybody's been blowing smoke up his ass, and everybody's ass. There's national articles were written about him. ESPN had a big article, real good article about Pittman before the Georgia game. Sports Illustrated had an article about Pittman, and all those things are not untrue after just this one game.
No,
but we've been saying all these positive things. We've been talking about how great. I mean, we really like Pittman.
Oh yeah,
but it's also fair. It's also fair after a game like that he's not perfect. He's got things that he can correct. Nothing uncorrectable.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
And so.
And I'm confident he'll do it. I'm confident he'll get it corrected.
Yeah.
I'm confident he'll correct it in the team, and hopefully he'll take some of that, advice, and he'll run with it. He'll take some of that tough love from the media and he'll run with that because, sometimes they're right about things, so I don't know, man. Man, do we have to talk about this Georgia game next?
I hope I never have to talk about the Georgia game again.
Good Lord. Well,
I hope we come and beat Ole Miss and just smack them around in Oxford.
Let me give you your Hog Call box score breakdown.
Okay.
All right. We're doing it a little different this week, boys and girls. First quarter, we got shellacked. Our special teams got shellacked. Had punts blocked. Wasn't able to do anything. Our defense was just dominated and embarrassed. Second quarter, the defense bucked up a little bit. I made a couple stops. Looked like they were going to make it a game. Offense just kept doing the same goofy stuff. Silly ass wide receiver screens. Trying to get the ball to the outside edge when they clearly had it locked down. When we did get a couple runs up the middle, they were few and far between, but that's what was getting us some yardage. And as far as throwing the balls go, it just seemed like everybody was covered so well downfield. It was very hard, to get a pass off. I don't understand why you don't just, I don't know. Run some comebacks. Right? Run some comebacks. Get that fast, corner running with you, and then put your foot in the dirt, come back, and have that ball in the air before he makes his cut. Let's get some of those little things, right? That'll spread it back a little bit, and then we can run. How about some slants across the middle? Just a quick slant behind the linebackers across the middle, man. Hit them in the 1 and the 2 hole as they're coming across. You got 2 spots you can aim for. Like simple things like that, get the instead of getting a wide receiver screen, how about floating the tight end out 5 yards down the field and hitting him? Run a post and a comeback over the top, so you make the safety make a decision to have to go with the post or the comeback. If the safety takes the comeback, you hit the post. If he goes to the post, you. So I don't know. You just have to get creative with these. What I would say is like even more simple plays that are high efficiency plays where you make the defense make a mistake and then you take advantage of that mistake the defense is making. Where you're more reading the defensive player as a quarterback than you are looking for your guys that are open, right? I don't know. And I'm sure they tried to do that. I'm sure it just didn't work. I'm sure that they taught all that and it didn't work out. But at the same time, I feel like we didn't have the confidence to call some plays that were maybe a little bit gutsier that would have maybe got us at least a couple points at the end of the game, right? But anyway, so that gets you to the first half, and then you get to the second half, and we sucked. We put in our backup QB, and he sucked bad, really bad. And he tried to make some stuff happen. We almost had a touchdown, and then we called off the dogs for no good reason at all, and just quit trying for a touchdown, and wound up getting shut out. We should have kicked a field goal. We missed our first field goal by little in the first half. The first half, I should have mentioned that. But we missed that field goal by little. in the first half. First time he's missed all year. It's just like everything was wrong. Our automatic kicker, everything we did was bad. Had 18 penalties. 18 penalties. So.
And it's crazy to get beat like that and no turnovers. You know what I mean? But you know why? You know why we didn't have any interceptions? Because we weren't even. Because all we were doing is throwing those behind the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. And you throw out of all these 16 total passes, half of them are going to Burks. We got to find somebody else to pass to, even if it's running back. Look, Sanders, the biggest play of the day on offense, 22-yard Sanders run, and that was in the first half. And you don't even target, don't even look that way, don't even try that again, like get him out of the backfield. It works. Look at all throughout college football, all throughout NFL. Like some of these guys, you use these weapons on offense in different ways. You don't have to just find Burks. They know he's a star. They know he's going to be an NFL player. Yeah. They know it. We've got talent on these guys. We've got other talent in the wide receiver room. And
you think we got Warren, we got Crawford, we got Jackson, we got guys out there. You got Morris
targeted like 1-2 times. Like you're not even trying. It's not even like they're like you're talking about. Even some of these rounds, you're just doing the same thing. And we get sacked 4 times, and that's not good. But that's all. But it still leaves a lot of plays open where you're not dropping back and trying something else and throw a couple interceptions if it means you're trying to throw downfield at least some. You know what I mean? Like
at least you're trying.
Yeah. At least just wussy play calling, just playing. Everything just was just not. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Look, Kendall Browse, you kind of sucked in that game. The play calling, we felt like kind of sucked. Period. Yeah. Right? I mean, we think you're good. We've really, been positive of your other, games and how you've done, and we've been, excited for those. But this was that same stuff you did in these other games, and you won. But now you're playing a top echelon SEC school. It ain't going to cut it. I mean, it might cut it against Ole Miss. It might cut it against LSU. Yeah. It might cut it against Missouri. Yeah. It might cut it against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Even. Right? But it ain't going to cut it against Alabama and Georgia. We're going to have to figure it out, right? And I think why I'm going to say it again. I said this earlier. But why'd we go fast? Why'd we go fast in this game? Why? Control the clock and at least keep the score low if you can't beat them.
Yeah, no. And I will say, like, it was a darn good effort by the defense because it was looking like it could have been 60-something to 0, like, throughout that game. And you take away 7 of those points on that block kick, and some of these possessions, we're giving it to Georgia back at their 50-yard line because our offense can't move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I will say on that first, like, you know what, Odom? You kind of like you're saying about Kendall Browse. Like you're doing the same thing that's like, hey, it'll work against Mizzou. Okay, we might score 40 points against Ole Miss this weekend. You know what I mean? And do that against some of these other teams. Mm-hmm. But it's a different circumstance, different game. It's a different game plan you need to come up with. And and he's been talking about it. It's not like we're set on. They've said it. We can adjust the defense. It's not just set on the 3-man front the whole season. They were running all over you, but it wasn't. I think they attempted 11 passes, 7 out of 11 for 72 yards. Did not do anything in the passing game because they didn't have to. They were running on us all day.
And why were we running a 3-man front against that? Yeah. Why are you running a 3-man front when they ain't? Why? Go 5-2. Seriously, if they ain't, go 5-2. Let's get some more big boys in. Right? They haven't run the ball the entire year, but all of a sudden they're superstars when they play us in this game. That ain't right. That ain't normal.
Make them pass. You got the backup quarterback in there.
Force them.
Just like making it so easy on them. I don't.
Yeah, and then if they can pass the ball on you, you're like, oh shit, they can pass too. But at least you tried to do something. At least you tried to shut down that run. At least you tried to do something to take advantage of what you could, to shut them down where you could. I don't know. Who knows? What if you would have adjusted to a, larger man front and been able to, put some bigger guys in and stop the run, right? And then you found out, like, this guy didn't have the accuracy, right?
Yeah.
Or you found out, like, this guy underthrows a little bit. So you get a couple picks, you know. Yeah. Maybe you even get a defensive touchdown like that. He knows that. He knows that. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't have, and it could be one of those things where the coaching staff just wasn't respecting them either. Like, they were like, oh, we got a shot at this. We're done beat 2 big schools. We're just as good as they are. Maybe they didn't think, like, we need to have some trick plays and, What do you do? They wasn't in the, and Georgia came out with that run game too, which they hadn't done the entire year. So Georgia's a little scared of us too, because they changed their entire philosophy up and then came out and just ran it the whole time. And and that was part of that is having an injured quarterback, but part of that is like being tricky and trying to outcoach the Hogs, which they did.
Well, I think against UAB, the Stetson Bennett that came in, he threw 5 touchdowns in the game this year. Mm-hmm. I think you're talking about maybe we didn't. Georgia respected the hell out of us because they came to play. That was their best game of the year. They came to play. They were ready and fired up for us.
Oh yeah,
and we didn't return the favor of showcasing.
We didn't do anything. We looked like we gave up.
It was bad. It was worse than we gave up. I mean, it was like I was in a hog pressing before halftime.
It's bad.
And I thought at the worst case, like it was going to be a heartbreak. Like I was going to get hog pressing because we had a chance at the, you know what I mean? Like, damn, we just would have done this right. We just, this, and I don't know. Like I would say sometimes you say, what's worse, getting a very close loss or getting your butt whipped? And man, at least I would have pride in the way we would have played with that. But this one just makes me think, how are we going to come out this weekend?
Yeah, you hope we win this game. You hope we go in the Ole Miss and we win the Ole Miss game. But at the same time, Ole Miss went and played Alabama. And they got their, and this is, I don't know. It shouldn't even bother me, I don't guess. But it does. Because they got their trash points in the fourth quarter.
They did.
And in the fourth quarter, we had the opportunity to get our trash points. Not only did we drop the ball in the end zone on pass, we also just gave up after that play as a coaching staff.
Going for it.
Just gave up. What do you show?
What are you
teaching those players, man? Just giving up like that. Go for it. What the hell? What do we got to lose? Well, they're going to pick the ball and run it back for a touchdown? Good for them. Whatever. If they pop it off like that, if that's how they beat us undefeated, I can take it better. I can take it better if we went back out, we went for another pass play, threw it in the end zone, Georgia player picked it off, ran it all the way back for another touchdown, ran the score up higher and beat us, whatever it was, to 0. At least at that point I would have said, well, at least we went for a touchdown and tried to score. Right? Yeah. Like, at least we gave it our all. I don't know. Maybe that's just the difference of opinion or whatever, but I just want to see more fight. I want to see more fight in the coaches. I felt like the coaches didn't have the
final whistle, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Till the final whistle. I didn't understand that because we were running on them, man. I mean, we were moving the ball, like, okay. And that's the thing, too. It's like, Green was okay, and then we started moving the ball in their territory. Hey, we still got some time. We got our timeouts. Mm-hmm. Like, then we had another big run. It's like don't even call timeout. Even I'd take another attempt at the field goal. Just something like, dude, you're moving them. You got their backups in. They finally put them in. Take advantage. Get the momentum for the next game. Ole Miss sure did that. And look, Alabama has been known to. They'll do that. They'll kind of let up off after because it was 35-0. But give Ole Miss credit. They didn't. Kiffin didn't stop calling plays. Mm-hmm. He didn't just say, okay, let's just run it up the middle. Let's just run the clock out and get out of here. He's like, well, put up some points, man. Yeah. And guess what? That's what I'd stop, watched another game after it was 35-0, and like, that's respectable. And I think 42-21, even if it's just optics, because watching college football the rest of the day, kept seeing over and over on these reports, not like in-game reports. Wow, Georgia kept showing 37-0. It's like I wasn't trying to enjoy the rest of college, but they kept showing it because it was such a big game. And at least Alabama and Ole Miss, at least the 21 points is like, well,
I mean, 37-7 is better than 37-0. Like,
yeah. A shutout is what we always talk about. Shutouts against these teams. Like I want to pitch a shutout.
When's the last time we were shut out? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that long ago. We had some horrible coaches. Good Lord, we've had some bad coaches, man. Did Morris get shut out? Wouldn't that be a damn shame if you did worse than Morris, even in one game, even in a singular game? I don't believe he had to have gotten shut out. I don't believe Sam Pittman.
Don't worry.
Didn't he take 2?
Oh. All right. Let's see. Last year if we got shut out any.
Didn't we? Missouri, right?
Why can you just help me out here? Why is there no better stats for these things? Stupid ads on websites.
I don't know, man. I'm upset, man. I'm upset.
I am too. I'm so upset. It's almost time for another game, and
I'm mad. I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you, Pittman.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off, Pittman. I'm pissed off, man. Y'all can do better than that, man. That's why I'm mad. That's why I'm mad at you, Pittman. I ain't mad at you because I don't like you. I ain't mad at you because I don't believe in you. I'm mad at you because I know you can do better than that.
Yeah.
You're a better coach. Your staff is better, and we have better players. And you know it too. So I think we could both sit down and drink a beer and agree on this. Now I'm sure he'd say, "Yeah, I could probably need to stop saying." I don't know.
Just BS. Just BS. And be like, we'll get it corrected. We're gonna look. We got to look at some things. Look at it again. Whatever.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah, you're right. 2018, Morris got shut out against Missouri.
Good Lord.
38
That's gross.
Last game of that year.
I mean, at least it wasn't Missouri.
Was
at least it wasn't Missouri that did it. At least it was Georgia. But golly.
Good Lord.
This shutout crap's got to stop, man.
I hope we don't ever get shut out again in our Razorback football time.
Hey, listen to this. If we win this game, Tim, we'll be 5-1. And last time we were 5-1 is in 2011 when I was with the Razorbacks. So
yeah, no,
that was a damn good. That was a damn good year, man. That was a good time.
I'm okay with trying to wash this away.
Anyway, that's the game, man. That's it.
Yeah.
I ain't going over any more than that. I'm not going over. I'm not getting into this damn thing. It's just gross.
Clicking out.
Gross, and I wish I didn't even have to talk about it.
Well, we did. And we talked about it.
And we're still on a hell of a track too this year.
Yeah,
you know,
we can go 5 and we're ranked 13th.
It's just one loss, and it was one of the best teams in the nation. Like that, it wasn't even that bad of a loss.
It's just how. Just put up it a little bit.
Hey, look, probably not gonna win it. So just when we play Bama, just go in there, balls to the wall. Let's see some double reverse passes. Let's see Statue of Liberty. Go back and watch some old Houston Nutt film. All right, and run some of them plays. Let's get us a little bitty guy and have him fucking kneel sideways behind the center, and we'll just snap the ball right to him. Let him take off. Those sorts of things, man.
We hadn't seen anything like that.
Who was that? Was that Fish? No. Who was that did that?
It was somebody else.
Man, they were good too.
Yeah. I went to that game, man. At Auburn, number 2 Auburn. That was a big crowd.
You saw that? That would have been awesome.
I did, man. Freshman year of college, man. That's good.
I'm saying, though, that's what I want. I want some sneaky stuff, man.
Yeah, that play was called Woody, I think, or something. That's how we had to beat them, man. I mean, you also had to have McFadden and stuff, but but we whipped her. I mean, it wasn't just like, hey, kept us like we whipped them that game. Like we took it to them. 27. It was like 27-3 or 6 or whatever, and it was. Like I don't feel as confident to go into. I mean, Georgia was number 2, same ranking. So why do we keep talking about this? I can't help it because it's just hurt. But we got a chance to be 5-1. We can beat Ole Miss. It's all freaking Miss.
Well,
3 mascots.
here's the thing, man. Is right now either Arkansas or Ole Miss are the real deal. And either Arkansas or Ole Miss are number 2 in the East. And we're going to find out who that is when we play this game. Like, can we beat Ole Miss? Hell yeah, we can beat Ole Miss. If we can beat Texas, we can beat Texas A&M, we can damn sure beat Ole Miss. Do we historically beat Ole Miss? Yes. We do. Are we probably going to win this game? Absolutely. But could they win with a, coach like Kiffin and this fancy quarterback they got out there, Matt Corral, who deserves, all the kudos, going to Oxford Stadium, having another one of these 11 o'clock games we wasn't prepared for. It's a big-time game on ESPN with a rocking crowd and a rocking stadium. Am I giving this crowd in this stadium more credit than I'm giving Georgia? Yes, I am. Absolutely. Because their crowd's going to be in it. We know that. Like, that's an Ole Miss thing. That's just you just know that. It's like Texas A&M, They're all brainwashed and they wear suits and stuff and they do their weird hotty-toddy stuff. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you want to say that A&M's a cult, you got to recognize that Ole Miss is a cult too, man.
I always thought it was weird too in the Grove, like all the straw that's laid down in the Grove, like somebody could just. And I'm not gonna do it, man, because I respect tailgating and having a good time. But somebody could just light one match and that whole place just go.
Remember that old boy? Remember that old boy poisoned the tree up at Auburn?
Yeah.
Good Lord, people do mean stuff.
They do. I'm not gonna do it. I respect Ole Miss, man. I've been to a couple. I've had one good experience down there and one bad experience.
I hope it doesn't happen. They don't point back to the podcast and be like, well, you were at this game and you were talking about this.
You cut it out
5 years ago.
It was like fire.
Oh, man, this is live. This is live on air. Can't cut anything out.
I'm not going to do it, though. Like, I really don't want to do it. Like, But I'm just saying somebody could do it. And it's just kind of weird to me. I mean, I guess.
I get you.
Why would I even say that? This podcast took a turn, man. I'm upset.
Here's the thing.
Thank you.
If nobody burns down the Grove in a horrible fire where people are like running and flailing, and the flames are just getting bigger and bigger. Khakis and cheap polyester suits just clinging to their body, making the burn much worse than if it was just a wool suit. Singed ties everywhere.
Oh my God.
If that doesn't happen, can we beat them? Are we still figuring out the crowd noise now? I mean, that's what our coach said. We heard it earlier today that they're still working on figuring that out. So the question is, can we overcome all that and win this game? Or are they going to use all that and beat us, right? Maybe we're not. Maybe we can't play away games. And if we go back through the schedule and we look at our games, we say, okay, We can't play away games. Like, what do we got left? Right? If we win all of our home games, what do we got left?
Yeah. So we beat Auburn, Mississippi State, UAPB, and Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would be a good season. But I mean, hell, man, I'm not even feeling as good as I did about A&M. Mississippi State goes down to College Station and puts it on A&M. You know what I mean? They're going to be coming in here ready after we had embarrassed them last year.
That would be
What I mean?
That'd be an 8-win season.
Yeah. That would be good.
And that's what we predicted at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
8, 9. I think we predicted 9 wins. I think is what we went with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they get an 8-win season, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But golly, man, does it not feel like we're farther along? And it probably shouldn't. It probably shouldn't feel like we're farther along. We probably shouldn't feel that good. But it's just as hard as the schedule is and the teams that we're beating. Like, it just feels like it's a special year for us. It just feels like we're a lot better than we think we are. Or at least that's how I feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
If we can win some of these, if we can win, a couple of these away games, right? And just pick up, Ole Miss and Auburn or Ole Miss and LSU. Like, if we could do that, man, just 2 more even. I mean, 10 wins. Whew, what a year.
That's a special year, man. That's a special year.
What a year. We're halfway through the year in this game. And the question is, can we beat Ole Miss? And then I think it comes down to, like, who has the better coaches? They got Matt Corral. And I guess he's a Heisman winning quarterback. And we made him look foolish last year when we played.
We did.
And he looked flustered and confused and didn't know what he was doing. His throws were horrible and they were off. He said he had a bad game. So are we going to be getting a different Matt Corral? 100%. Like, not having a bad game this game, right? Was it a bad game because our defense made him have a bad game? And we're going to come at them with something this year and make him have a bad game. I know Pittman said in his conference that one of the things that they're going to be doing is they're going to be changing the defensive scheme up. So when we go against them, Matt Corral's going to see different things than he saw last year, so they're not prepared what we bring at him defensively. Okay, that's interesting to know. And will we be able to confuse him again? Was it what we did specifically last year that confused him, and what we do this year is not so confusing? Right? Is that the right move? To even move away from what worked and do something that you think's going to work because you think he studied what didn't work? Does that make sense? Like, why? I don't know.
Yeah, no. Trying to take a proactive approach to what Ole Miss is getting ready to do. I will say, Saban complimented. He said before last week's game against Ole Miss, they're going to take what Arkansas was going to do. What Arkansas did with that drop 8 and umbrella coverage and stuff. Like, shout out Arkansas because with what we did to Corral, and then this week, Kiffin said they took some philosophy or to some of the defensive things from Odom because what we did last year. So that defense works. Now, what does he mean? I mean, I figure we still do the Russian 3. You know what I mean? They couldn't make adjustments last year against that defense. There was something else we were doing that other teams couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's out to prove. But is he going to be forcing it? He hadn't thrown an interception all season. I think he throws one Saturday. I think we still. Now he's able to run. They don't design runs for. But he's able to scramble out of the pocket and get out of trouble. Are we gonna, like you were talking about, setting the edge and pushing that pocket back like kind of we saw against A&M? that we're able to do. This offensive line is not going to be as good as Georgia.
Yeah, you
Are
got
we
still
able
the
to
edge.
push this pocket back and force him into trouble again? This has got to be a bounce back game. And going kind of back to, it's a little different that we're just talking about the defense, but I did want to say, man, is this such a big game? This is a big game. It's a big game for us, too.
I mean, it's a big game.
I'll get into that later, but yeah.
It's a big game for Ole Miss, and it's a big game for us. Listen, Arkansas is ranked 13th in the nation. Ole Miss, 17th in the nation. And the books are giving Ole Miss the advantage, which is just disrespectful. That's just disrespectful. I don't like that.
I think Vegas gives like 3 points for home advantages or something like that. So they're still saying a neutral field, you know what I mean, they would favor Ole Miss in this game. So people are thinking, even though we're ranked higher, like the media poll, even the coach poll, we're ranked higher. But for some reason, it still feels like people have been given Ole Miss. It just feels like they're thinking Ole Miss
because they got a Heisman quarterback, right? Well, why the hell are they ranked above us? They only got one loss. We only got one loss. Maybe it should be flipped. But, the polls feel like, we've played a harder schedule. We've beat better teams. And I think that's true. I think we have played a harder schedule. I think we have beat, better teams than Ole Miss. So, I don't know.
That's such a big game. I know, like for both of us, but it really does mean like this could be the difference between if we drop 2 in a row. And look, I've talked enough about Auburn, but they went into Baton Rouge the other Saturday night, and I thought LSU. I was like, oh yeah, LSU's going to smoke them pretty good. Auburn struggled with Georgia State, and Auburn's looking better than I thought. I'll give them credit. So we can't, if we drop this one 2 in a row. We're 4-2, and then Auburn comes to town. Like we gotta turn this thing around. This is such a big game. I know I've said that 3 or 4 straight times, but
all right. So Ole Miss beat Louisville 43-24. They beat Austin Peay 54-17. Beat Tulane 61-21, and then lost to Alabama 42-21. And I'm going to say this. Kiffin didn't know that he had another question after he said grab your popcorn and threw his headset at that poor lady as hard as he could. That's what he says. He knows damn good and well what he did. And it didn't work out, and he got his ass beat. And that's probably why you got your ass beat so bad, showing off out there in front of your old coach like this. Golly. And now we got to play them. And the question is, can they beat us at this point? Because you look at our schedule, and who've we played?
Yeah,
we played the number 15th team in the nation and beat them. Played a top 10 team and beat them. Being ranked in the top 10. Can you beat us? That's the real question. Are you as good as us? You supposedly have a Heisman quarterback. And yeah, he's put up a lot of numbers. 43, 54, 51. Like, he's put some numbers up, right? But who's he put him up against? He hadn't really put him up against anybody, right? I mean, he got some points against Alabama, and that's where it scares me. That's where it scares me. You get those fourth quarter trash points against Alabama, but we can't get them against Georgia, and Georgia ain't as good as Alabama because Alabama beats Georgia on a regular basis. We all know this. And it's like, wow, all right, well, are they better than us because they're able to score those points on an Alabama when we couldn't score on Georgia? And that's like literally where my mind is right now. Right now.
It makes a difference, man. Like, but I'd say I've seen that in Alabama give up stuff, but they don't do that to us. Like when we have bad teams, man. I mean, I know Ole Miss ain't a bad team. They don't do that to us when we have some of the. But I have seen they do that. They'll give up some points when they're up so big. But that's 21 points. That's not just 7 or 14. So they're and two with Lane Kiffin, and this is frustrating. I get why he does it. It's because he goes for 4th down. I mean, they're really got some really high percentage of converting 4th downs, and that's frustrating. Giving 4 downs for a. I hope he messes. He did that against Alabama in their own. I think when they were down 21-0 or 28, at some point like that, he went for it in their own territory, and they blew it, and then and Alabama scores again. Can we take advantage? Can we stop them? Well, not just 3 and outs. Can they go 4 and out? They screw up, and we take advantage of that. Mm-hmm. And I think Ole Miss is supposed to have a better defense. Okay, he's supposed to got some big, Pittman's complimenting these guys. He's got, we got some guys off the transfer portal.
First off,
they have 2 apparently. So,
yeah, I guess they're supposed to have a better defense, but their defense sucks, dude. Their defense sucks. Let's be honest, it sucks. It's not that good. Man. It's not that good, man. I don't care who they got off the transfer protocol. Did they get 11 guys off the transfer protocol? Because they were just horrible. They were trash.
Yeah.
Last year and the year before, horrible, terrible, worst defenses ever. I don't think they're changed. And I don't think Kiffin cares about defense that much, if I'm being honest.
He doesn't.
He'll just go in and out, score you. Yeah. I think it's kind of his mentality.
I think we're going to be able to really run. I think Traylon Smith has a bounce back game. I think Rocket Sanders has a big game. AJ Green, I think KJ's able to run on them. I think it's a big game where I think we rush for 300 yards. There, I'm going to say it. I think we run all over them.
Hopefully our wide receiver screens work, so we'll throw something else. Because if we throw a wide receiver screen and it doesn't work, we're going to just keep throwing them the whole game. Trying to figure out why it doesn't work. Sorry.
No, you're right, man. And it's obvious to see. I don't care. Well, try something. Do something else.
I hope we do. I hope we do have a running situation where we blow it up and our running backs look great. I hope we see KJ get out there and get down the field and make some stuff happen with his legs.
Yeah.
I like to see us throw it around a little bit. I mean, honestly, when you look at their defense, at least for me, I'm looking at their defensive line and I'm thinking, okay, well, let's put the ball in there, because their defensive backs are their defensive backs. I feel like that's where their issues are, right? I feel like they don't have the talent at defensive back as they do at defensive line.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, they're all seniors. Everybody they got on their defense is seniors, all the way up and down. So it's not like it's a young defense. They just hadn't been good for the rest of their career. So why all of a sudden are they gonna? Maybe they.
Yeah, it's not exactly. Yeah, just because they've got some more experience doesn't mean, but they do have an experienced defense.
They do. Like everybody's seniors, everybody's been there for a long time. They got a very experienced defense, but at the same time, it's been a historically bad defense during this period of these players. And I hate to say that for the kids, I hate to say that. I'm just going by numbers and things like that, but it's true.
Look, I'm going to say it, man. Ole Miss defensive coordinator, DJ Durkin, killed a player while he was a head coach of Maryland.
Good Lord.
Yep. That's why he's fired, man. Administrative lead for not paying attention to what his players were going through. One passed away from heat stroke and exhaustion.
Good.
A lot of allegations against.
Totally preventable, too. Heat stroke.
Yeah, it was kind of an ongoing thing. He toxic culture and stuff, and they didn't fire him because he was innocent. So that's who their defensive coordinator is. I hate to break it kind of down, man. If anybody needs any more rooting interest for Arkansas.
Well, there you go.
What an asshole. So. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I just feel like I just took it.
No. I'm glad you said it. It needed to be said. It needs to be out there. You know, kids shouldn't be dying of heat stroke. And I don't know why you're still coaching. I don't know why you're still coaching if somebody dies of heat stroke. Hell, just those basic heat stroke classes you take teach you how not to kill a kid from heat stroke. It's totally freaking preventable. All you gotta do is make sure they have plenty of water. And in college, with athletic trainers and everything, you almost have to try.
Yeah, that's one of those where he's probably, the player's obviously probably feeling those effects come on. He's like, nope, we're tough. We're blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anybody needs any more rooting interest and just reason to run for 500 yards against them, that's the reason why.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I think. I think you should try to put it in the air against this team. You think you should run the ball against this team. Two totally different.
I was saying I think we can, but I think too. I'd like.
Every time I say we need to put it in the air, we just run it all over these teams too. So
yeah.
maybe right. All right. So for their offense, you got Corral, you got Sanders, you got Drummond, you got some really good wide receivers, Jackson, Brown. You got some really good wide receivers that can really make some things happen. And, you have to take the pass away from them. So, what do? Like you said, you seal the edge, you push the pocket back, you try to attack the QB, make him uncomfortable, keep him from running, get as many sacks and hurries as you can. Saying that means that you're not going to be focused on the run game. You're not worried about Early and Parrish and Connor. You don't think they pose a threat. Bullock, all those guys. I mean, they got the top running game in the SEC, and that's what bothers me. Is last year they had the top running game in the SEC. This year they're probably going to have the top running game in the SEC too. So you got to stop that run. Is that 3-man front enough to stop them dropping all those guys back? Do we need to go with a 4-man front? And is that what we're going to do that's different? Is that what we're going to show Corral that's different? Maybe. I don't know. To me, my focus would be stopping the run and then attacking Corral if you get the opportunity. But really more of a focus on stopping the run instead of blitzing and twist and stunts and things like that. Let's try to stop the run and then let's take advantage of the throws that are made. Maybe get some picks, stuff like that. Play a really good man on the wide receivers, because while their wide receivers are good, we could definitely man up on these guys and shut them down with our cornerbacks. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many different directions you can take it.
Yeah, maybe the 4-man rush, man. Just gotta find a way to stop the run, and maybe that way we put some more pressure on. You know what I mean? We're still able to use Morgan and Poole and Henry as the linebackers to in the passing game, kind of like we were doing, but. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So I wonder what the difference is. I'm excited to see. But they can run the ball. You do think, I keep thinking Corral. But, man, they do. They're top 10 in the nation in run.
The run game is what has really been more, I don't know. I mean, they throw the ball, but the run game has really been more damaging than their passing game. So you gotta take that out and to make them pass it. Make Corral pass it. Let's see. Is he a Heisman quarterback? Yeah. Can he sling it? Is he a gunslinger? And if he is, let's figure that out after we stop the run. Let's figure out how to adjust to those, passing plays.
I still feel pretty good, and maybe some of those rushing yards, those extra, all those come in, blowouts against Tulane and Austin Peay and Louisville. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you expect those scores, those wins. Like you should have.
Maybe they're running the clock out against them. You know what I mean? I didn't.
They move fast. They have a fast offense, so hurry up against hurry up. We're going to see that. Whether it's hurry up and punt or hurry up offense, that's what we're both going to be running. So it's going to be a fast game. Don't blink. Game will be over.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of possessions. I mean, there's going to be a lot of possession in this game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We got Bumper Pool, man. He's done so good this year, leading the team in tackles. Golly. Congrats to him, man. 49 tackles. Believe that?
Yeah, he's been really good. The linebackers have really played well all year.
Yeah, absolutely. Man. Burks had a good year. Of course, we know Traylon's had a good year. KJ's looking good. I don't know. I think where people overlook us is with Green and Rocket. I think we underutilize them too, to a certain degree.
Yeah, I do too.
Man, sure wouldn't mind seeing some gadget plays with them in mind, right? Wouldn't that be?
We need to use them more, man. Rocket had the best damn play on offense against Georgia. He ran over a guy, made the guy miss, and that's all they went to. You know what I mean? Use that. Look, he's feeling it, man. He's a skilled player. It's all right. Don't be scared. Don't be beholden to seniors and juniors. If these guys are so what they're freshmen, man, they've proved they can play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come up with plays for them.
That's
why the staffs are so big, man. You've got time and energy. You're getting paid for this big time.
Oh, yeah. That's their whole team, though. I mean, their special teams are pretty good, I guess. So, I don't know. The thing is, can we beat these guys? Can we beat a team that's run the score up on everybody, even scored against Alabama? Can we go to their house? Can we handle the early game? Which I've never heard. That's a new excuse that Pittman made that I don't think I've ever heard before, is that it was an early game that we wasn't prepared for. Maybe he was talking about the size of it. I don't know. But I always thought night games was I don't want to go to LSU at 6 p.m. kickoff. That's what I don't want to do that.
Go to Tuscaloosa at 11 a.m. I thought 11 a.m. is that's what I was told a couple weeks ago. I was thinking, oh man, 11 a.m.
Maybe Georgia's just a bunch of drunks or something.
Man, stayed up all night, man.
Woo.
I don't know, but it sure worked out for them.
Good Lord. Anyway, so that's the whole thing. Can we be prepared for that? We're still looking into it. We're still trying to figure out what to do. Saying that, that was yesterday when he said that. So yesterday he's saying he's still trying to figure out how to handle the big games going into a huge game. That's not. I do not feel good about Pittman saying that at all.
Yeah.
Worries me.
What are you doing? Busting over there, leaving Fayetteville at 6 a.m. Saturday? It's time to get ready.
Good Lord. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about this team, man.
I don't either, man.
If I'm going to say this, I'll say this. Let's say we always talk about the size differences and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. They are a small offensive line. We should be able to attack that offensive line because they're not a huge offensive line. And then their defensive line is kind of on the bigger side. So we might have a little bit more to deal with than we've had to dealing with their defensive line. But that's when you look at the size differentials and the linemen, that's the big thing. And then the other thing is that we're just massively taller than them, at cornerback, and we should be able to take advantage of that height, throw the ball up, go up in there, get it. Hate to say that, sometimes say it, and it just doesn't happen, but that's just, That's just how it is. And they are kind of undersized. Looking at 6 foot tall and 6'1" and 6 foot wide receivers. They don't have the tallest wide receivers, so they're not the type of team that can just throw the ball up and go up in the air and get it right. Or where we do have those tall, receivers. So you kind of do see a difference in balance there. Like looking at those things, we do kind of have the advantage on them.
Yeah, also their defensive end, Sam Williams, 5 sacks this year. Number 3 nationally in sacks per game, preseason All SEC. But the other guys don't really scare me on their defensive line. They lost Jonathan Mingo. I think he's still out for this game, but he's their leading receiver. So if he's out, that's big. They've got Braylon Sanders and Drummond, but I don't know. A couple seniors, but nothing just crazy. I think Mingo was their probably the best known receiver, but I don't know. These running backs averaged over 6 yards a carry. That's pretty good. But again, they haven't played anybody besides Bama, and I guess they did put up 21 points, but they couldn't run the ball against Bama. So when they kind of ran up against a good defense, I feel pretty good about it, man. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a close game. It's such a big game. Like it's we're going to be able to talk about it. I know it's kind of easy to say, well, because I don't know what's going to happen, man. I think it's going to be a lot easier to say what's going on after the game, because after this last week, disappointing efforts by both teams, got so fired up for Georgia and Bama games, how both these teams are going to react.
Mm-hmm. And you break it down and you start looking at it statistically, they got a little advantage on us, scoring 44.8 points per game, where we're, scoring 28.6. So, I mean, it's, defense so far, I don't know, man. They got a little advantage on us, just about every category, honestly. I mean, not much in. I guess all right. Rushing, they got 20 points or 20 yards on us, rushing offense, right? Like they don't. It's 243 to 224, so it's not like crazy, like rushing offense, right? Defense 151, 150, almost like identical, right? Our defenses match up very well, very well. Our pass defense is honestly a lot better than their pass defense. They give up a lot more yards than we do. So, that is good because you got that differentiation there, and you're able to attack them. So, I don't know. When you look, I think offensively they kind of got us. Defensively, we kind of got them. And what does that chess match look like, right? Our defense going up against their offense. Can we hold them? And can we score enough to win? I guess that's always the question.
Yeah, we've got to. I can't expect 6 interceptions again. And they fumbled near the goal line last year. They left some points out on the board. They were going for it instead of kicking field goals last year. We needed a late pick 6 from Grant Morgan. It was a close game last year with those 7 turnovers. Mm-hmm. So, and this is at Oxford. So I kind of, you know what I mean? Ole Miss has the 7-6 advantage all time in Oxford. So we've done pretty good. Like, for being the away team, we're just 6-7 against them in Oxford. That's not bad. Mm-hmm. Not as good in Fayetteville. We're 12-2 all time in Fayetteville against Ole Miss, but we played pretty good down in Oxford. We played really good against all series. These are back and forth games. Last 5 games last year, we beat them 33-21. Year before that, they beat us 31-17. Year before that, they beat us with Morris. Okay, they went 2-0 against Morris.
You can't count Morris.
Beelan was last year.
He sucked so bad too.
We beat him. Well, we beat him 3 straight times.
He was still terrible. That says something about how bad they are that Balaam would beat them 3 straight times.
Yeah, he dominated them. He did blow that big lead against him his first year, but that was a long time. But
and there was that weird fumble flip back touchdown thing.
Oh, yeah. 4th and 25, man.
Golly. This is the 6th game of the year. We're halfway there, man. Right in the middle. We got a few more to go, and that's it, man. I mean, we're almost done with football season. We're halfway there.
Jesus.
Halfway there. So, if we're going to be playing post game and we want to see a good post game, we got to. Not really. We don't really have to win, but you kind of want to win this. You know, I don't know. I think you win this. You beat Auburn. You beat UAPB, Mississippi State, LSU. I mean, who else is going to beat you? You beat Ole Miss, right? I don't see Auburn beating it. If I was saying Ole Miss probably go beat Auburn, I think Ole Miss could beat Mississippi State and LSU. I think you beat Ole Miss. I don't see those teams beating us. I think the next game you got is against Alabama, and then I don't know. I guess I'm discounting these other teams, but they're just not.
Well, I don't think you're even discounting.
The Pirate ain't doing it. He ain't making it happen.
No, he ain't gonna beat it. I think we go undefeated. I think we've got a real good shot to do that. I think it's just what's in hold for these roads.
You heard Pittman talking. He basically said, "Look, all we got to do is not lose another game, and we can play Georgia again in the championship." I hope he is going for that. I hope he's pissed off, man. He's like, "We got to play Georgia in the championship, and then we're gonna win every single game." Golly, wouldn't that be awesome?
He wants a rematch with with Georgia. I like that, man. I'd love one.
Just get down to Alabama, just beat the tar out of them. How nervous would Georgia be? Good Lord.
Man. They would choke.
We couldn't have any injuries, dude. Like, not at quarterback. Like, we cannot have an injured quarterback to do this. For this scenario to work. I'm sorry, but Malik is not. Malik is, I'm hoping somebody doesn't transfer in or something. I hope he gets some time to play.
I will say we came out of that. I did say after the game, after that Georgia, like we came out of there injury free. So that was we're coming in this game really healthy. Hopefully KJ, he was a little banged up. Not sure he was 100%. Not sure that even would have made a difference against Georgia, but he should be, closer to 100% or 100%. I want to see him get turned loose against Ole Miss's defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's another thing Pittman said he wasn't sure about. He didn't know how injured KJ was for the Georgia game or whether he was 100%. And I thought that was just the weirdest thing to hear because I know the athletic trainers at the University of Arkansas are absolutely telling the head coach, like, this is exactly where he is at and what his status is and how he's going into this game.
Pittman don't ever say anything about injuries. I don't know. I tell y'all, it's like you don't know anything. You just say I don't, or does he just say I don't want to know?
No, he's got to be just
always saying he don't know about injury.
Well, he's got to be doing that so that he's just like I'm trying to not let people know who's going to be who's 100%. I don't know. Here's the thing, man.
He ain't telling the truth, man.
Can we beat Ole Miss with all these with everything? And it's funny how the Georgia podcast was. Here's the ways we could possibly beat Georgia, and the Ole Miss podcast is here's all the ways Ole Miss could beat us. Like, are they going to win? Right? Are we going to beat them? Or are they going to beat us? I think whoever wins this is looking good, man. If we win it, we have an opportunity to be undefeated when we play, or be one-loss team when we play Alabama. So think about that. Only losses to Georgia. Now, that being said, man, who knows if we can win this one? Are we ready for the crowd?
I'm sure ready for them.
Will they even be an issue? Will they even be an issue?
Will they make the game? You know, supposedly they have the best party. You know what I mean? Are they even gonna get out of the Grove by the game? Georgia did.
Good Lord. I guess we should guess on a score for this thing.
Okay, I got mine. Whenever you're ready for you.
Yeah, I'll say 37-17 Arkansas.
I like it. Okay, I'm gonna go 41-27. Arkansas.
Man. That's a crazy
You got it coming, Ole Miss.
That's a crazy score.
You got it coming.
Here's what I think. That's what I think we're going to do. I think we're going to be able to contain Matt Corral. I think we're going to keep him from running around. I think our three-man front's going to work well against this team. It's going to be the type of offense that defense is actually set up to play against. So I think it's going to work really well against them. I think they're going to run the ball on us quite a bit, but I think we're also going to stop them 1-2 yard line. I don't think we'll get a lot of stuffs in the backfield like we think we will, but I think we're going to keep them in short yardage situations, and then hopefully they'll get some penalties, things like that, which will back them up a little bit. We'll be able to take advantage of them defensively. Just through with good solid play, stopping the run, and then making Matt Corral throw the ball, and then playing off the mistakes he makes when he throws, if he does make mistakes. And then I think offensively, I think you put it in the air against this team. I think you want to get the ball in the air a little bit. You want to get it downfield. You want to see some big plays from KJ. But then at the same time, you also want to run the ball quite a bit and be balanced. But I think you want to establish the throwing threat quickly, because that Georgia game has them thinking like, can they do it, right? Do we still have the ability to put the ball in the air and go downfield with it? And I think you want to nip that in the bud quickly, back them up, and then run the ball off of that. So I don't know. That's how I think we'll attack them. That's the reason I think we'll win. I think we'll just be more successful than they will at those things. I don't think they have a bad team. I really don't. I think there's an opportunity that they could beat us in this game. And I think a lot of this game might be just who wants it more. And we've lost a lot of football games, and we got embarrassed bad. And we got embarrassed a little bit worse than they did. And that might mean that we want it just a little bit more than they do. And that's why I made my pick, what I made.
Yeah, they're probably still feeling pretty good about themselves. I think that's what I'm thinking. 41 points. I just don't think Ole Miss can be able to stop us.
Mm-mm.
I think we're gonna show some different things this week. I think KJ Jefferson going back home to the state of Mississippi, I think he has a really good game. I think we're I think we're able to run the ball, pass the ball. I think Little gets back on it. That's why I got 41. I got him kicking a couple field goals. I think Corral throws his first interception of the year. I think we put some pressure on him. I I predicted 27 points. I think they're going to put up a little bit, but that's just, you get into that type of game with Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're better than them. I think we're a better team. I think they're still Ole Miss. I like Kiffin. I think he's a good coach. I think he's probably going to jump ship to another school after this year. Who knows? And I'll be glad. I'll be glad if he gets out of the SEC, so we don't have to play him every year. But I think we take it to him. I think Pittman shows a new boss. I think we get back on track. And like Pittman said, we were a lot of times, and we didn't let our loss last year bother us. Like I think he gets him back up. I think I'm gonna take him for his word. Mm-hmm. George ain't gonna make him lose twice. I think we're gonna take it. I feel pretty strongly about that. I just think we're a better team, Oxford or not. I think we're gonna go down and beat Ole Miss.
I agree. I think we can. I think there's a lot of reasons that this might not go our way, but at the same time, I think we're a lot better team than a lot of people give us credit for.
So true.
What a crazy podcast this has been.
It has been crazy, man.
Well, all right, what we got next? Hockey. Arkansas won the series. Beat UNT also. So,
yeah,
nice
a couple games down there.
Mm-hmm.
Away from home, we'll come back and play Iowa State this week. That'll be good to get back home and win a couple games. Keep the season rolling.
Mm-hmm. So if you're in Springdale, go watch them. Like we said, they might not lose another game after losing to that D1 school, So,
yeah.
We win this series. I mean, good Lord, you're almost halfway there, so.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. We got some big games coming up. I know Missouri's Nebraska, some home games, so I really want to get out. I haven't seen them this year, but I really want to get out there.
Yeah.
Bang on the glass and root on the Hockey Hogs for the Hog Call Podcast, and I will record a little bit, something when I do. I know I've been saying that this year, but I've got to go to a game soon. I've been missing it.
Oh, absolutely. So, well, let's see. How'd fantasy work out?
Let's see. Let me get that. Let's do the picks first.
Oh, okay.
So I can find the fantasy. If that's all right.
No,
I do want to say, I'll say this because last week you went 8-7, and not great, but I went 6 just an awful week. Me and you both.
Lord.
I lost my last 6 that we picked last Saturday, and then you got one game, and then you lost the other 5. So we just did terrible. We both thought, Kentucky beat Florida. We both thought Florida was going to win.
Good.
We had A&M over Mississippi State. We both had LSU over Auburn, UCLA over Arizona State, and neither of us picked Hawaii to beat Fresno State at Hawaii that late night. So you pulled within 2 of me. So I'm up 42. I'm 45-30. And you're 42-33. So we got a long way to go.
3 more to go. 3 more to catch up. God Lord, hopefully I catch up this week.
Oh yeah, you can do it. I mean, you got pretty much did it. Let's start off Stanford at Arizona State. Stanford's coming off that win at Oregon. And Arizona State's looking pretty good under Herm Edwards. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Arizona State on this one. Herm's got them rolling in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm going to have to too, especially in Tempe there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Arizona State as well. Michigan State at Rutgers.
Michigan State. Yeah, we're definitely going to go with them. Good Lord, they're going to demolish Rutgers. That's going to be embarrassing.
It's not at Oklahoma versus Texas in the old Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Texas on this one. Goodness. I don't know. I should probably go with Oklahoma. They're undefeated. Number 16 in the nation. I'm going to go with Texas.
I don't care for Oklahoma. I don't care for Texas, but I'm going to go Texas here. Maybe it's a little bit of me since we beat them, making me feel better about.
It would feel good. It would feel good.
Yeah, like that. We beat a good Texas team. South Carolina at Tennessee.
South Carolina. Tennessee. Let's go Tennessee.
Okay. I'm going to go Tennessee down there in Knoxville as well. Virginia at Louisville.
Louisville.
I'll go Louisville as well. All right. We're not going to come back, Chad, if I keep picking these.
That'll be all right.
Boise State at BYU.
Just go with Boise.
Okay. I'll go with BYU.
Yeah, because they are the number 10 team.
At Ohio.
So it does make a lot
Yeah.
more sense to go with this.
Boise State's got Hank Bachman. What do you think? You going with Ohio here? They're on a roll. Win streak.
In conference? Yeah.
Go Ohio. I'm going to go Ohio, too. Bobcats. Georgia at Auburn. Oh, my Lord.
Georgia going to just tear Auburn to pieces. They might not even score a point.
I hope
3
not,
SEC
man. I hope
shutouts. How many SEC shutouts has a team gotten?
Yeah, they've got 2 in a row, so I hope they get another one.
Like, I wonder what the most is.
I know. So. Well, let me see. There's crappy games. TCU at Texas Tech.
TCU.
And I know we're both picking Iowa over Penn State. I know that's a top 5 matchup. We'll both go Iowa there. Wyoming at Air Force. Pretty good Mountain West game.
Wyoming at Air Force. Let's go with the Service Academy on this. Let's go with Air Force. Let's see.
Yeah. Air Force is pretty good. I'll go Air Force as well. LSU at Kentucky.
LSU. Man, at Kentucky? I don't know, man. Golly.
I'm going to go Kentucky here.
I'm sticking with LSU, dude.
Okay. Michigan at Nebraska.
Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, Frost ain't got it going in the right direction.
I don't know why. Maybe it's because why is Nebraska only 3-point underdog? I'm going Nebraska here. I have no idea why. I just think Harbaugh always loses some. So I'm going to go with Nebraska. So there's you one. Get back in it. Notre Dame at Virginia Tech.
Nah, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. I'll go Vatech. Alabama A&M. I don't know why I include these games because they're SEC.
Alabama will shellac A&M.
For some of these games like that, Alabama Auburn, I really need to do like the point spread. Be like, do you think they're going to beat the point spread 18 points or not? That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is a bad point spread. Probably not.
Does it? And that concludes our pick'em for the week. All right, fantasy. Here we go. Transition. The Hog Call Podcast League.
Hog Call.
Internet. All right, so the standings right now. Number 1 in the league, and you know he's going to be an asshole about this. The Big Wiener Bandits are sitting at 4-1.
Good Lord.
Pit Boss, me, 3-2, 3-game win streak. Run like a Razorback, 3-2. Team
Nice.
EV Dop, 3-2. Maynard, 3-2.
Nice.
Hog Call, 2-3. Florida Hog, 1-4. Hog Stradamus, 1-4. I will shout out to Team of the Week, Hog Stradamus. He heard me talking crap about him last week. And he turned it around, so he got him a win. He was not happy about what happened on the podcast last week.
No, he was.
But sometimes you just gotta stoke a little fire. Obviously, it worked, so you're welcome. I'll take credit for that.
There you go. It's not that he won it; it's more that you won it through him.
Yeah. So last week, Pit Boss, I beat Florida Hog 195 7. Big Wiener Bandits run like a Razorback, 206 to 113.
Good Lord.
Team Hog Call, wow, you lost.
I just keep losing these
65
like
to
so
166.
close games, dude. Every single week, man, I lose, and every single week it's like only like a few points or like 0.37.
That's like a 10-yard run. That's like one catch, just something. A couple yards pat like in the whole game of college football day.
Every week, dude. Every
And
week.
Oxtramas beat the defending champions Maynard 136 to 100. So this week, let's look at the schedule here. Kind of see where we're going. Kind of getting down to the nitty gritty. So Team Evie Dobb, 3-2 matchup versus Pit Boss. So that's going to be pretty good. Big Wiener Bandits versus Hogstramas. Can Hogstramas, you hear me out there, Hogstramas? Can you knock off the number 1 team in the league? Get yourself back in the playoff hunt.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
FL Hog versus Maynard. And then you got Team Hog Call versus Razorback. Big matchup, 2-3 versus 3-2. Who's going to win to kind of get in that playoff hunt? So big week again in fantasy. We're having it's a great league. We're having a big time. That's all I got for fantasy.
It's been a blast. I know I've been losing these games so close every single week, man. But it's still been an amazing fun time. I'm glad we did it. It's really fun just to interact with the fans and hang out.
Yeah, it is. We've heard a lot of good feedback on that. Hopefully we'll expand the league next year a little bit more. But so far it's been fun, whether people's missed out or not. I know you're tired of hearing about it, but if you holler at us if you want us to make the public. I do need to kind of put the teams out there. If y'all got any rooting for any teams or anything. Really fun and really competitive too. Like everybody's paying attention to it, whether they're 1-4 or 4-1. So there's still, half the team makes the playoffs. So a long way to go.
And, here's the deal. I think that, whoever wins that shirt is going to be sporting a nice little product. They're going to be excited about that. If you want your own and you don't want to have to play, that's fine. You just click on the button, man. It's right there in the description or on all the platforms. Just click on the button and go buy you a 1909 Arkansas Razorback National Championship t-shirt.
Yeah, they're sweet, man.
Like if you got 64 memorabilia, that's cool, man, but 1909. Anyway, man, I don't know. I think that's about it. I think, we always talk about something that's not Razorback related. And, man, the thing I got this week is crazy, man. These kids in Ohio, I believe it was, decided to rape a kid, basically. They took a kid, held him down, and, stuffed something up his butt and sodomized him. And I just got a couple things on this. First off is as football coaches, I think you have to understand that this sport is under attack. There are people that don't want football to happen. They're looking for any excuse to try to cancel it and get rid of it. And you need to understand there's certain things that have happened within football that in the past that shouldn't happen moving forward. Right? And one of those things is hazing. Hazing, period, shouldn't happen. And coaches should make sure that they make sure that's not happening within their team. And if these kids, if it was a hazing situation and that's the reason they did that, good Lord, what was that head coach allowed them to think that would be something that was okay. Or maybe the kids are just nuts and just snapped and just did it. I mean, who knows? I don't know. But it does make you wonder, where were the kids in the locker room? Or the coaches in the locker room? Why didn't anybody see this? Why wasn't they better supervised? like during this situation, stuff. It was able to be.
Yeah, this is in the lock.
Yeah,
sorry, Chad.
No, it was able to be videotaped and then like sent out. Like you said, it's in the locker room, man.
Well, this kid's making noise like what the stop, things like this, and for this to go on, and where the coach, are they turning a blind eye? Do they think this is funny? Because this is stupid, this is sick, and not cool. And I'm thinking an eye for an eye, sodomization for sodomization to these kids, but then putting on a video these days and like having that out there and knowing, like, even though he's got 3 people against him, you know what I mean, like holding them down and doing stuff and ridiculous. And again, like you're saying, like a lot of people are looking for excuses to rail against football in general. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And this is not what the sport needs. And I know last year, sometime like Huntsville, Arkansas. About 30 minutes from where I live, and there was some teabagging incident like this, and the basketball team, just ridiculous, man. Like, what is going on with these kids, and what are these parents been teaching these kids to, like? How's that funny, man? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
And you gotta get like, as a coach, you gotta get with these kids, and you gotta like talk to them and like explain, and like, I think it's okay to like show them these incidents and these newspaper clippings and say, look what these people did. This is stupid. We don't do that. We don't act this way. This isn't how you behave as a young man. And kind of lead these kids and teach them how to be, good young men and football players and humble and all these things. But especially, how just to like control yourself and not be, somebody that's like super angry or raping people or things like that. Like, you should, like, that's not sodomizing, whatever. It's not rape, sodomizing. But either way, man, it's not somebody with teabagging them, taking your testicles. Yeah, it's not okay. None of that's okay. And the thing about it is like, it's got to come from something that the coaches has done. It's got to come from that coach's atmosphere, from whatever that culture is that coach has put in place. At the very least, he's put in place a culture that didn't explicitly say you shouldn't be, sexually abusing people, which really is something you should be talking about. I hate to be like that, but in high school, the things that happen to girls and things like that, like, you should be talking to these young men and explaining to them, like, you shouldn't do this. This is not acceptable. We're not going to tolerate it, within our program.
Yeah, no means no on anything like that. Like, if these kids feel a certain way about each other, they can, if feel about with their teammate that agrees with them, that's fine. Obviously, for anybody, and this just is sick, man. It's but yeah, I think we're just talking about the culture of the programs that these coaches are leading does directly affect how these players think they can get away with it, and how they think, oh, this is the right way, and whatever kind of hazing is. Look, man, the coaches are going to make the freshman players and sophomore players earn it. They're going to earn their playing time by how they practice it. They're going to earn in the off season and practice, sweating right along with you. They don't need to earn by that kind of stuff, and it's just bad, man.
Absolutely. So I guess all I got to say there is, like, I don't know. You gotta the players are ultimately like totally in the wrong. This school, they got their entire football season shut down, and I agree, that should happen. And all these people were like, oh, you shouldn't punish all the kids for a couple. Like, at this point, no, just shut it down. Like, that's, somebody got sodomized. All right, it's time just to shut that season down. Try again next year. And then, let's find out what these coaches are doing. Let's look into them, right? Are they the right people for the job? And then, and then move forward from there. I don't know. You hate to see it. You hate to see the whole situation even occur, and it just like puts another ding against football. We just don't need them. We don't need them. We don't need those. We need to be, we need to show people that the sport of football helps you become a better person, not increases stupidity.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, anyway, that's about all I got, man.
Yeah, I just want a quick story. I'm with the Urban Meyer thing. What the hell's going on with that guy, man?
Oh man! So how he was dancing while he was dancing with the girl?
Oh, it's just
he had her rubbing up on him and stuff.
Strange guy, man. It's in his own bar, like in Ohio. He leaves the team, man. Lost that, so he decides to stay in the state of Ohio.
I don't think. Here's my thing personally. I just don't feel like it's anybody's damn business if he goes and dances and has some girl grind up on him at a bar between him and his wife. That's who that's between. I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. I ain't trying to get in that mess. I don't think anybody else should be trying to get in that mess either. As far as like, should Urban Meyer resign? Like, he was actually asked if he was going to resign. That did happen, and he told them no, he is not planning on resigning. And then the owner of the Jaguars came out and said he was disappointed, threw him under the bus and all this stuff. You know what? I bet he wouldn't be damn disappointed if he was 4-0 instead of 0-4. I bet he wouldn't have come out and said that. What he's saying is, you're not winning right now, and I might fire you, and I might use this for the reason that I fire you. So I need to be very outraged about this thing right now that normally I probably wouldn't be outraged against. And you're not fooling nobody, dude. Like, everybody knows that. Like, everyone, dude.
With Urban too, man, he's just everywhere he leaves. He's gonna, besides Jaguars, in college he was gonna win. Already won a couple championships, but he had a murderer on his team, Aaron Hernandez. Ohio State, he talks about these health problems, and then he goes out and coaches again. You know what I mean? He's just a weird guy, man. But yeah, I think it's between him and his wife on that thing. But it is kind of crazy. And then Meyer throws his quarterback Trevor Lawrence under the bus. Like, well, I didn't mind. I told Trevor Lawrence earlier in the year to be careful at his bachelor party in Vegas. Just like throwing Trevor Lawrence under the bus. Just everybody throwing each other under the bus. That's fun. Just weird, man. Urban's always preaching culture and leadership and these things, and like he was messed up. He didn't know what was going on that night, man. He looked blitz. And
I'm sure he was.
I thought it was a funny story, man.
If you were a multimillionaire, you've made all these teams, winning teams, and you were 0-4 in the NFL, you done pulled some crazy stuff with Tebow at the beginning of the year and pretended like you was going to give him a shot and stuff. And obviously that was a publicity stunt, but you did it. And I don't know. And that gave people a reason to like hate you before you even got started. Really. Because like everybody was like, oh, Tebow's way too old. No way he can do it. Blah, blah, blah. Which all turned out to be true. All that turned out to be true. And so that makes, that puts you in a bad situation, man. It puts you in a precarious situation. People thinking like, how great of a coach is he really, right? And then like you're 0-4 and your boss is coming out and he's talking about how you shouldn't be grinding up against women in bars and stuff. I mean, where's he going to be next year? USC? USF? Miami? I mean, he already did it at Florida. Maybe he'll go do it with the Seminoles next. Or Miami.
Yeah, he'll get hired no matter what. I think it's just, to me, he's taking a hit himself. Not even like somebody will hire him for college. Just kind of like Saban. Saban didn't have success in the NFL. Spurrier didn't have success in the NFL. But damn, Urban will get hired, and he's won championship. He built that Utah football program, and he moved on to Florida, won a couple championships. Ohio State won a championship.
I heard a thing where they did a poll on the sports radio the other day, and they did a poll, I guess, and they asked different ADs, like, would you hire Urban Meyer? And it was something like 30-something out of 46 said they would. And the guys I was listening to on the morning show for the Bucks down here, they were like, man, there's a whole lot of liars, and the guys that said no.
yeah, all of them would, man. I mean, a lot of pressure to win, man. Of course you would. I did see, like, there was reports earlier that, like, he was offered the Texas job, man, and he wanted to prove himself in the NFL. And the thing is, like, the weird thing, like, the Ohio State on the sideline and having these health problems, and what the hell are you doing going to the NFL? Like, he's a multi-million.
Oh, well, he probably got those worked out. He's got tons of money, so he probably had his doctor.
That's true.
Turn whatever nuts or bolts or whatever they need to turn to get him back up and going.
No, he's never gone. He's never started a season. Probably never started a season 0-2, 0-3. Definitely not 0-4, man.
Probably not.
It's crazy, man. But it's a funny story, more so, you know.
Think about it. It's shaping up right now where you might see. Think about this: Urban Meyer in Miami, Deion Sanders at Florida State,
Kiffin going back to USC after they left him on the tarmac. Different administration.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it, if we went back?
No, Ole Miss, we got to figure out Ole Miss. Orgeron going back to Ole Miss after LSU fired. Jimbo going over to LSU after. No, Jimbo ain't leaving that $9 million contract year.
I don't know. LSU might pay him more money. LSU might actually do it. They might be a team that would pay more. Like, they got a lot of money down there.
They might bring back Miles. Maybe Jimbo stays at A&M and Les Miles goes back to.
I don't think so, man.
Saban goes to LSU? Back to LSU? Dabo goes over to Bama?
Saban's never leaving Bama, dude.
Chad Morris goes over to Clemson? Saban goes to Bama.
I'd like to
Saban goes to LSU. Dabo goes to Bama, and Chad Morris takes over Clemson.
Saban goes to the NFL, I think, is more reasonable.
Please.
I think Saban at some point might be like, all right, it was just a fluke that I didn't win down with the Dolphins. I need to go back to the NFL. I got to do this personally for me to feel complete. I got to have a winning season in the NFL. I might go back to the NFL just to show that he could do it, you know. And any team would take him, honestly. Any team in the NFL would take him right now. So, you know.
He's not showing his age. Like, he's still got energy left. And look, Belichick's kind of like, it's looking like Brady's the key to all that winning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Belichick ain't done nothing since Brady left.
Texas is probably going to hire Bobby Petrino when they get rid of this new coach they got. Bobby would probably won a couple championships by then up there at Missouri State.
I forgot about that. Okay, Saban's going to stay. He's either going to stay at Bama or go to the NFL, and Petrino's definitely going to. Wow.
Good Lord.
We've got Sam Pittman who doesn't know. I like you, Pittman, man. I'm sorry, Chad. Why did I do that? We talked about it.
I like Pittman, man. I mean, Pittman has been the better coach out of all the coaching hires. I mean, we talked about, like, you wanted the Pirate here. I wanted Lane Kiffin here, right? Thank goodness we ain't got neither one of those, because we're actually doing a hell of a lot better with Sam Pittman. Pittman done beat Kiffin once. He fixed and beat him again, right? So
now I'm gonna have to fight you on the I wanted the Pirate thing. I was yelling at that at Razorback game. Let's get Kiffin, man.
You did. You wanted Kiffin too. Yeah.
Leach was in the list because how he turned on Texas Tech, and that's a lot before I knew of his politics. So
that was before we knew what type of person he was. Definitely, yeah. I totally agree with that. You wouldn't make that pick today. You know what I mean? But I was like, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Like, if we can't get Kiffin, like, I'd take him for sure. Like, it wasn't like I thought that would be a bad hire.
Yeah, we almost had Kiffin. We talked about that a couple of years. I think I don't know where we got on that, man. Good podcast. Hopefully we rebound. Hopefully next week we'll promise guys we win. It'll be another good podcast. We do what we could after getting beat. Embarrassed.
Hey, look, I just want to put this out there to all the fans. If you're a fan and you're pissed off and you're embarrassed and you think that shouldn't have happened and you think that you got let down and you think the coaches did a bad job and you think the players didn't play up to their ability, then that's normal right now. That's what you should be thinking. That's a good thing. That means you are a real fan and that you analyze the game correctly. If you're thinking if you're one of the people who are like, oh, you know what? Georgia, they're the number one team in the nation. They got the best defense in the nation. And that's automatically what you jumped to and started making excuses for why, Arkansas lost and this, that, and other, talking about how great Georgia was. And that's your first, inclination was to pump up the other team and make that okay that you lost to that team because they're just so great and high and mighty and so much better than we are. Then, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going to say you're not a fan, I guess, but we made that thing where we said we wouldn't say people aren't fans a while back, but it's kind of suspect, man. It's just at least suspect, man, to think that right off the bat, they could be the number one team in the nation. No, they're not. They've been beat by Alabama 6 times. They're not the number one team in the nation. They're the number 2 team in the nation. And we should have put some damn points on them. They should have played them better than that. We were a top 10 team. So the first thing you want to do is talk about how awesome Georgia was and how we got beat because they're so much better than us. I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that.
I hope there's some Ole Miss fans listening this week. Leave us something before the game. Don't come on after like that bitch-ass Georgia fan, Chris Shaw. Hope you're listening this week. Hope you listen to this whole thing. But you're going to get disappointed again. Go Hogs forever, man. I
agree.
I didn't like that, man. I didn't like that. I don't like the Georgia fans getting up in there. There's probably just one. I'm sure all of them was courteous and stuff, man. It didn't hurt me. It didn't bother me. I was already hurt. I was depressed, hog depression, just because I thought, what the team? I know we went over this a couple hours ago. Bring it up again, because you didn't hurt me, Chris Shaw. You didn't hurt me one bit. Your 3 tweets. You're bothered by it. Tweeting at me. Hog Call Podcast ain't tweeting at no Georgia podcast, Georgia fans or anything, trying to start something, saying something. This is a Razorback fan podcast. First thing you got to learn here is this is all about the Razorbacks. We're fans here. What does our byline say? For fans, by fans. Because that's true since day one. Our first 2 seasons were Chad Morris era. We just came off the Brett Bielema era. First 2 seasons of this podcast were Chad Morris. Look him up, you douchebag Georgia fans. Look him up, and you'll see. We ain't going anywhere.
Woo pig suey.